Today we're going to explore a significant moment in U.S. immigration history, the McCarran-Walter Act of 1952, also known as the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952. This law upheld the discriminatory national origin quotas but made small exceptions for Asian immigration. Let's delve into the historical context, the provisions of the act, and the lasting impact. In the early 1950s, the United States was in the grip of the Cold War. Fear of communism and a desire to maintain national security shaped many aspects of American life, including immigration policy. At the same time, the U.S. sought to present itself as a leader of the free world, which required addressing some of the racial inequalities in its laws. Previous immigration laws, such as the Immigration Act of 1924, had established a system of national origin quotas that heavily favored Northern and Western Europeans while severely restricting immigration from Asia and other regions. The McCarran-Walter Act sought to reform this system, but it still upheld many of its discriminatory principles. The McCarran-Walter Act was named after its sponsors, Senator Pat Warren and Congressman Francis Walter. It was signed into law by President Harry S. Truman on June 27, 1952. The act retained the national origin quota system but made two significant changes. First, it ended the outright ban on Asian immigration by establishing small quotas for Asian countries. For the first time since the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, Asians were allowed to immigrate to the U.S., albeit in very limited numbers. Second, the act introduced a system of preferences based on skills and family reunification. This allowed some Asian immigrants with specialized skills or family ties to U.S. citizens to enter the country, but the overall quotas remained heavily skewed in favor of Europeans. President Truman initially vetoed the McCarran-Walter Act, calling it un-American and discriminatory. He argued that the national origin quotas were inconsistent with the principles of equality and justice that the U.S. claimed to uphold. However, Congress overruled Truman's veto, and the act became law. Despite its flaws, the McCarran-Walter Act marked a small step toward reforming the U.S. immigration system, setting the stage for more significant changes in the years to come. The McCarran-Walter Act had a mixed impact on Asian immigration. While it allowed some Asians to immigrate to the U.S., the quotas were so small that they did little to address the systemic discrimination against Asian immigrants. The act also reinforced the idea that immigration policy should prioritize national security and economic interests over humanitarian concerns. This mindset would continue to shape U.S. immigration policy for decades. However, the McCarran-Walter Act laid the groundwork for the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, which abolished the national origin quota and established a more equitable immigration policy. It also highlighted the growing recognition of the need to address racial and ethnic discrimination in U.S. law. The McCarran-Walter Act of 1952 is a reminder of the complexities and contradictions of U.S. immigration policy. It challenged us to reflect on the importance of fairness and inclusivity in shaping a nation's identity. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history. Let's remember the lessons of the past as we work toward a more just and equitable future. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep making history. I'm Daryl Omar, and I'll see you soon.